dance for joy.
So welcome to Sensible Secondhand Classics, a series where we look at nostalgic cars that are over 15 years old that you can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 1995 Alfa Romeo 164 2-litre twin spark. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? Well, viewers, it feels amazing to be back behind the wheel of an Alfa 164. It's absolutely amazing. Clutch in this car is quite heavy, but if it's just this particular one, I think the 3-litre one that I drove was like this as well. So the 164 was launched in 1988 in this country and continued all the way through to 1998, although I think it came out in some markets in 87. This is the most basic version, bizarrely, from 1995, the 2-litre twin spark with no trim level. No trim level at all. You could also get a 164 Super, 164 Lusso and a 164 Super Lusso. The top of the range car was called the Cloverleaf or Q2. There's also a Q4 version. But this is the most basic one you can get. Bizarrely, it has electric heated seats and no air conditioning. The engine in this car develops around 145 horsepower. I've seen the twin spark listed as 4 different power outputs, but they're very similar anyway. Sometimes it's with a cat, without a cat, all around about 145 horsepower. And then you got into the ones which maybe are sort of more famous, which is the 3-litre V6 Busso engine. The basic one when the car came out of this country in 1988 was 184 horsepower, and I've driven one of those with a manual gearbox, which was an absolute pleasure. The Cloverleaf version came out in 1990, that has 197 horsepower, and then for the facelift, which occurred in 1993, both those engines were increased in power. The standard V6 had 207 horsepower, and the crazy Cloverleaf and Q4 versions 229 horsepower. There are also some diesels in some markets, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. So this car does 0 to 60 in just under 10 seconds. It feels really quite fast. I'm actually really surprised. One thing I'm missing in this car is cruise control. We don't have any in this one. It's just the basic twin spark with no trim level. But we're going fast enough. We're on a dual carriageway. We're doing 70 miles an hour, but it feels like it wants to go faster. I've got no more ratios of the gearbox though, so we'll have to remain at this kind of speed. The engine actually pulls really, really well. I'm very impressed. I know the later twin spark, which was in things like 145, 146, that also is a great engine, but this older version in this car is really good. I imagine actually it's a bit more economical than the 3-litre V6. It's also probably a little bit easier to work on, and this would do me fine. I mean, I'd like some cruise control, but apart from that, it's pretty good. The steering is really nice, and we'll just go round this roundabout, and I'll see if we actually get any torque steer out of this. The V6 is notorious for it. Both Ian Seabrook, who drove a Cloverleaf, and I both noted the torque steer being absolutely terrible. Let's just sort of see, and if we come around here, then I'll put my foot down and we'll see what happens. Nope. The only problem I've got in this car view is that there's not an awful lot of fuel in the car. My fuel light is on.
Filled it up yesterday, it's fine.
At least it's not a V6. That's all I can say. But so far, yeah, I'm enjoying my twin spark experience tremendously. It's a nice enough gearbox. The clutch is quite heavy, but you get used to it. So it's steering feel. Yeah, steering feel is good. Steering feel's very good. Actually, in some ways, this is a better car than a V6 because you can stick your foot down and you don't have the thing tugging at your hands. Right, there we go. It sounds good. It doesn't sound as good as a V6, but that's fine. It doesn't need to. This is still a really nice car. Driving seats are really comfortable. Real driver's car. This. It's a shame about all the torque steer. Well, viewers, we've got helicopter noise and all kinds of things because we are at former RAF Manston Airbase, actually, right next to the Spitfire Memorial Museum. So it's an appropriate place to test a lovely exotic car like this. Unfortunately, the wind is quite bad and the light is also a bit poor today because it's really bright, but nevertheless, we can take in the lines of this lovely facelift at 164. Facelift occurred about, I think it was the early part of 1993. The rear is not particularly different. The front isn't massively different either. It's really the sort of headlamps that I tend to use to identify a pre and post facelift 164. That and of course the registration date. Same colour as the other one, this sort of black colour. And very, very sharp it looks too. Still got the Pininfarina logo on here. A lot of Italian cars, of course, designed by Pininfarina and some other ones as well at the time. One thing I noticed straight away is that it's got no body panels or doors or anything in common with the other cars on this platform, which are the Saab 9000, the Fiat Croma, the Lancia Thema as well. They sort of share the doors, or kind of not really, in case of the Saab 9000. This doesn't have any body panels or anything like that in common. Glass house, nothing. Alfa went their own way, and this was actually the last of this design to be introduced. It came to the UK in 1988. So, facelifted interior is a bit different from the previous one. Got the most ridiculous door pockets ever. They're almost as bad as in my Volvo S40. Look at this. That's all you get. That's it. I have no idea why they are that small, but that's just the way that they are. This door's also a bit loose, so I'm going to have to be a bit careful. Just wedge it with my knee. There we go. Ooh. Now it looks a bit sort of weird in here in comparison to some other cars, but it's very, very sort of Italian, a very Alfa Romeo. I mean, we'll turn the steering wheel to the left in a second and we'll have a look at some more of the gauges, but you can see this is just called the Twin Spark. There's no other trim level. It's not a Lusso or a Super or anything. And there's not much going on really here. There's a release there for the boot, release there for the fuel door, like a lot of Japanese cars at the time. There are the fog lights, that's a parking light switch, big hazard light switch, maybe Alfa Romeo were trying to tell us something at the time, and then just the simplest heater controls known to man. It's nothing like one of the old Alfa 90, which is one of the most eccentric interiors known to man. It's just very sort of normal, really. And in comparison to pre-facelift models, there were sort of 4 different dash layouts. A fancy one and a standard one pre-facelift, and a fancy one and a standard one post-facelift. This is the standard one for the post-facelift, and it's really simple, actually. We open that up, we've got a radio in there. It doesn't matter at shows and things. If you take one of these there, you've got a modern radio in it, like this one. You can just hide it away, and no one will be any the wiser. It doesn't really feel like the best quality. It's a bit nasty, that. It's a bit of a shame. Then we've got the ashtray under there with the cigarette lighter, very important in an Italian car at the time. The mirror switches are down here, and then we've got things like the locking button for the electric. Wait, I think it's doors actually rather than the windows, and then the window switches I think are here, which is weird, really. We've also got this little cover for the handbrake, which hasn't necessarily stood the test of time particularly well. If you don't want to see that though, you can put that down, a little armrest. I don't tend to use those particularly, but some people really like them. And we've got a little coin holder. It holds a £1 coin very nicely. And then something to put, I don't know, something in there, which is good. 5-speed manual. That was the only gearbox available on the 2 litres, as far as I know. You had to go to the V6 in this country anyway if you wanted an automatic. Right, let me just adjust the steering wheel slightly and we'll have a look at the gauges. Okay, that's better, isn't it? So 109,000 miles on this car. Because we are aimed at the sort of, I don't know, executive who wants to get on in a hurry. Thank you. We've got full gauge package, as John Davis from Motor Week would really, really like. Voltmeter, oil pressure. We've got the water temperature and the fuel there. And then we've got rev counter nice and prominently, which you're going to need. I think we'll have to turn the ignition on with my other hand at some point to show the digital screens in the middle. So I can do this. Yeah, there we go. So although we're on the basic level of a dash, we've still got some readouts for the heating ventilation position there. I don't quite know why you sort of need it. It's telling you where the defrost position is to turn all those to the right. I think really if you had the sort of, if you had the nicer spec dash, it would be a bit more kind of appropriate to have these. But with this, you don't really need those layouts there. The clock is very necessary though. Open up the glove box. Oh. I'm not sure I'm going to get me secret mission documents in there, you know, or maybe I will. We'll have to see. I must say these seats are very comfortable. They are electric heated seats on both sides, but you don't get any air conditioning, which is really, really strange. Yeah, nice Alfa Romeo badge there. Nice Alfa Romeo badge here. The airbag was actually optional, I think, at least at first on the facelifted cars. I've seen sort of lists of prices of, you know, like the 2-litre twin spot like this with the airbag and without the airbag. Bit peculiar, but there we go. Yeah, electric window switches for the front are actually there, and those are the ones for the back. That's the lockout there. Thinking of the back, we'd better actually get in there. Okay, viewers, my autofocus has come back sufficiently. Ooh. You don't really want to be in the middle seat, do you? I suppose you could try to sit there, but it's not really designed for that. It's more designed for luxurious business class travel. There we go. Huge, huge armrest. It's not the most spacious car in the back. I think possibly Stuart, who owns this car, is quite tall, and I think if it were me, I wouldn't need the seat this far back. Headroom's all right. I'm sort of brushing the roof. If you were over 6 foot, you might struggle a bit unless you slouched. But we have very, very nice Italian leather in here on the armrest and things like that. And it creaks and creaks and creaks because, of course, it does. Those door pockets that look like it's going to open, I don't think they do. I think that's all you get. There's the door release up front, and that's the door pull. I don't think you get any pockets or anything. You get the matte pockets on the back, which is good. But yeah, really designed for 4-seat comfort. I feel as if I'm going to be whisked away to a very important business meeting in somewhere like Milan, and we know we're on a company outing, and 4 of us are going to go in this incredibly lovely Alfa along the autostrada and make some nice noise. Right, let's have a look at the boot, shall we? So you could either actually put the key in here and remove the badge, but actually the more gentlemanly thing to do, of course, is to use the switch inside the car. Quite a massive load lip on this. It's not unusual at the time. Quite a few of the executive saloons designed in the 1980s actually had a really high lip, which I didn't crack with a facelift at all, as you can see. There's plenty of room in here for things, and we've got a little ski hatch there as well. Gosh, that's going to require me to sort of fiddle around with some trim actually to get under there, but I think the wheel is under here. If you pull this side, yeah, it's under there. I wonder if like the battery or something's under there. As you notice at the front, I've already seen it, so that's maybe for something else. So, a bit of a weird sort of shape of boot with this big hump on this side. I might have to take that trim off and see if we can then get the floor out. But yes, if you wanted, you know, some suitcases and things in here, then you'd be able to fit them in. It's just you've got this massive load lip there. But do you buy a car like this, a practicality, or do you buy it for style? Answers in the comment section below. Alright, there's my answer for you. There's a batteries in here. Ah, that's better. Right, there we go. A full-size alloy spare. Superb. That's what we like to see. Right, I'm going to just put all this trim back, and then we'll have a look at the engine. So I was wrong, viewers. Battery's not under here. It is in the boot. And here is the Alfa Romeo twin-spark engine. In this case, developing around 144 horsepower. This is actually not the same as a twin-spark that's in the 145 and 146. Those are based on a Fiat design of engine. This design dates all the way back to about 1962, I think, with the Alfa Romeo Giulia. It's obviously heavily revised since then. But yeah, they used this all the way up to, I think, 1998, the last ones were sold over here. Chain driven, reasonably easy to work on. Obviously gearbox is sort of down there somewhere. V6 much more complicated than this, and that's got a cam belt, so all sorts of fun. But yeah, still very nice engine. Way that these cars sound is delicious. Unfortunately, I think you might be under here quite a lot, which is a bit of a shame, but that is Alfa Romeo ownership for you. Right, time to go for another drive, I think. Excellent. I do feel like I'm on the way to a board meeting with my Italian leather seats, and we're going to wear our kind of Armani suit and talk about sales figures and company growth. And this is the sort of car that's aimed at somebody who maybe not quite want a 5 Series or a Lancia Dema or a Saab 9000, or possibly a Jaguar, like a lower end XJ. It's probably a bit more expensive than one of these, but the same sort of person might have bought one of these. It's a bit more exotic and a bit more fun perhaps. So viewers, should you consider an Alfa Romeo 164 as a sensible second-hand classic? Well, the answer to that question is probably no, because it's not very sensible at all. Is it a classic? Yes. Should you buy one? That depends. There are problems with these cars. The electrics, some of the trim's not particularly high quality. You can have drive shaft wear, worn front suspension, the rear bushes can wear out. Do not lose the red key if you have a post-1993 car, because you won't be able to program anymore. You've got to remember as well to do the cam belt every 35 to 40,000 miles, I recommend, on the V6 engine. Probably before that, I should think, just based on experience of what I've heard. But yes, you either really want one of these or you don't, and you're prepared to sort of put up with one or two foibles. Because these cars do have some of them. But from where I'm sitting, and the fact that I really enjoy driving these, the torque steer in this car is not nearly as bad as the V6 one I drove in 2022. then yeah, there are not many of these left, and you do probably need a specialist to look after it, but it's all part of the fun, isn't it? Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video in the comment below, and we shall see you again very soon for more the reasonably priced nostalgic motoring.
Every day with blue skies.